over millions of years and outnumber all other creatures on Earth.
We cannot underestimate the force of these insects.
They can attack without warning and will often sacrifice themselves to ensure the survival of their species.
I don't think it's wise to stick around much longer.
While the armies of some can conquer a landscape, others will literally get under your skin.
It's a repulsive kind of thing when you pull this maggot out of somebody's body.
Although many possess a delicate beauty, millions of people have been left dead in their wake, victims of the insidious diseases they can spread. They fly, they crawl, they slither, they swarm, they sting, they bite, and they kill. They are deadly bugs. They have advanced into our popular culture, earning the nickname killer bees. In order to learn more about the behavior of these so-called killer bees, the United States Department of Agriculture is closely studying this aggressive hybrid.
See that we've got about 20 Africanized bee colonies scattered around the apiary. The reason we don't put them all together is that they can easily set each other off. It's like a nuclear reaction, a chain reaction. So you never want to have 4 or 5 Africanized bee colonies on the same stand. An Africanized bee is simply a race or a subspecies of the European honeybee. But unlike the European honeybee, Apis mellifera, this is a type of bee that evolved in Africa against the depredations of human honey hunters as well as honey badgers, and literally developed a defensiveness for people or animals coming in and attacking the colony. We keep them here to get them away from people, dogs, livestock, so they're not stung.
In 1956, killer bees were accidentally released from a research laboratory in Brazil. Their escape marked the beginning of an unrelenting and rapid migration north.
The bees moved at a rate of about 200 to 300 miles per year. They went through Brazil and all up through the Central American countries into Mexico. They literally broke out of Mexico and entered Texas in October of 1990. From there, they swung westward, going into New Mexico, finally reaching Arizona in 1993, and now they're literally knocking on the doorstep of San Diego and Los Angeles. You should never get this close to these bees. I'm going to tap on them and get some more bees out.
During the past 17 years, Dr. Stephen Buckman has witnessed firsthand just how little provocation it takes to set off a deadly attack by killer bees.
Pretty nasty attack. I'm glad that I'm duct taped in. It's a frightening experience to be inside a veil like this with hundreds of bees. And they're really pummeling me. They're hitting me with such force. See how they're still boiling out of the front of the colony.
With such a hair-trigger response, anyone unlucky enough to disturb a nest of Africanized bees would be overwhelmed by a stinging swarm in only a matter of seconds.
I think I've about had enough of this. I'm getting out of here. Really a pretty violent attack here, and I don't think it's wise to stick around much longer.
It's been estimated that since their release in 1956, Africanized honeybees have killed more than 2,000 people. The most lethal attacks occur after the nest has been disturbed. Such was the case in 1993, when a beekeeper in Peoria, Arizona, responded to a request to remove a beehive from a local home. The events from that afternoon have been recreated. From the safety of his living room, John Musselman watched in disbelief as the beekeeper was overwhelmed by a frenzied swarm of killer bees.
I could see his white suit, but not like the top part of it. The whole top part, his whole upper torso and his face was covered with bees.
Almost instantly, the beekeeper was forced to flee the scene. The angry bees were still swarming when John's wife, Gina, arrived home a few minutes later.
As soon as I drove into the driveway, I knew something was wrong, and the bees just swarmed my car. And you could hear them just clinking on the glass.
You know, I was banging on the window, I was yelling, I was doing everything to get her attention. I did not want her to get out of the car.
Fortunately, John's frantic warnings worked, and Gina drove away unharmed.